Hi, everybody. It's Stuart Stevens on a beautiful Monday here from Vermont. You know, as somebody who worked in the Republican Party for a very long time, there's been a lot of strange, depressing, searing moments watching what's happened to the party. But I have to say, I never thought that I would open up the New York Times and see an article, and let's see it here, uh, by about a guy named Matthew Taylor, who we all knew as Yoshi, who worked for me as an editor for a very long time. So I sort of lost touch with Yoshi and was unaware that he had become a Trumper. And I really hope you'll read this article in Lincoln Square and read the article in the New York Times. I wrote the article as it's a letter that I wrote the author of the piece in the New York Times. And it's a good piece. Yoshi was a talented kid who I talented spotted, which was kind of a lot of what I did, looking for editors, shooters, writers. Hired him for my firm. This is going back to 2002, 2003. He did a lot of work for us in the Bush campaign, including editing a spot that my partner, Russ Schriefer, wrote, the windsurfing John Kerry ad, which was one of these things that Russ saw the footage, thought Kerry looked ridiculous, wrote this ad. It all went down in a matter of hours. Yoshi edited it, and now I guess it's being taught in classes as like a classic negative ad. Yoshi kept working for us, and we worked for pretty mainstream conservative Republicans. I mean, Bill Weld in Massachusetts, Tom Ridge, Pennsylvania, Larry Hogan, Richard Lugar. And Yoshi always sort of had a problem with the people we worked for, that they were too conservative. But, you know, they were acceptable to him. But I don't know, guys. They're a little, more to the right than where I am. And then when we did the Romney campaign, we did something I don't think any other campaign's done. We set up a full editing suite, which today would just be your computer, but those days still had other bells and whistles. And brought Yoshi in full time, and Yoshi edited spots for us and videos. And he was right there in the Romney campaign for 18 months. Did some great work for us. Then Romney lost, in case you haven't heard. And I sort of lost track with Yoshi. Now, when he was working for it in 2012, in the Romney campaign, you end up spending a lot of time with people in edit rooms, like a lot of time. And he talked some that this Steve Bannon guy had helped fund a couple of videos that he was interested in making, that Yoshi was interested in making. And we all kind of laughed about it. He talked about what an idiot Steve Bannon was. I knew Steve Bannon was an idiot. And this is one of the things people don't realize. All these sort of fools and ludicrous figures around Donald Trump, it's not like they woke up in 2015 and said, I should get involved in presidential politics. It's like we never would let them in. I mean, in 2004, Steve Bannon was like trying to get inside and make a film for the Bush convention. It's like, no. Steve Bannon? Like, really? No. Same with Corey Lewandowski, Stephen Miller, Kellyanne Conway, all these people. Wouldn't let them in. So we joked about Bannon. So cut to this past weekend. And lo and behold, there's a big article in the New York Times about how Yoshi, who now seems to be going, let's call him the artist formerly known as Yoshi, going by his given name, Matthew Taylor. Though I don't know, maybe Trump, when they hang out together in the Oval Office, calls him Yoshi. I don't know. I'm not there. Is doing all this work for Trump, including stuff around the Smithsonian that they're trying to censor. He's working on statues. He's working on the arch. And it's like, wow. Really, Yoshi? Now, I hired a lot of editors, but I have a special connection to Yoshi because the dude saved my life. Crazy story. But I was working in Albania. My firm was working in Albania, which, let me tell you, if you ever get in trouble in Albania, like you have a parking ticket you want fixed, like call me. I'm huge in Albania. And it was January, and I snuck away and went over to Italy and did some ski races on Saturday and Sunday. And apparently I took too much Advil, and it was sort of burning a hole in my esophagus. I didn't know I had an esophagus. Flew back to Tirana Sunday night. Didn't feel great, but, you know, it's a lot of pollution there. People smoke. They always want to meet at midnight and eat hamburgers and smoke. And it's like not a very healthy place. So I just, you know, chalked it up to like the Tirana thing. And then a couple of days later, staying at the Hilton, I woke up and I was pretty much covered in blood, which is a weird feeling. And Yoshi was in the room next door. I called Yoshi and said, Yoshi, this is a problem. So he called an ambulance, which was really just a big van with some paramedics. And we went to the Mother Teresa Hospital in Tirana. And on the way, I was pretty out of it. The paramedic had this like horse-size injection that he was about to shoot me up with. And Yoshi stopped him and said, like, dude, what is that? And he said, morphine. He goes, Yoshi stopped him from shooting me up, which I'd lost 2/3 of my blood. And if he had pumped me full of morphine, I probably would have died on the spot. So I can say Yoshi, like, saved my life. And at the time, in Albania, at the Mother Teresa Hospital, there really was not a verified good blood supply, which was a problem because I needed blood. So Yoshi got together with my firm and did all this stuff. And they arranged to fly me to the University Hospital in Zurich on an air ambulance. So we go out to the tarmac. I'm in some ridiculous hospital robe, kind of still covered in blood. Yoshi's there. And Yoshi asked these paramedic guys and women in this air ambulance, like, hey, can I go to Zurich? And they're like, yeah, we got room if you want to go. So Yoshi gets in, and Yoshi wanted to go to Zurich because he wanted to go to the Dada Museum in Zurich. That was probably, I think, the last time I saw Yoshi. But that's who Yoshi was. And now he's a Trumper. And I can't tell you the sadness I feel. Look at this. He's posting pictures of him and Donald Trump in Oval Office. I mean, really, Yoshi? Really? You don't think this is going to haunt you the rest of your life? You're the guy helping, like, make the Smithsonian a place where, like, apparently slavery was just a Votech program that we had. These hideous statues you're doing. I mean, Lena Riefenstahl, at least, like, she made these films, but then she was sorry about it. That was probably just an act. And it's just one more example of, like, I don't get why people do this stuff. Is it money? Now, Yoshi made an interesting film about Marcel Duchamp. Shown at the Hirshhorn back a few years ago. It's like, Yoshi, your hero is Marcel Duchamp? You know what Marcel Duchamp did when the Nazis came into Paris? He smuggled his fucking art out of Paris and brought it to New York because he wanted nothing to do with them. But he probably could have stayed and made a lot of money working for the Nazis. Does it feel good, Yoshi? Really? Donald Trump? Yeah. You know? So, you know, I have these moments. I feel like watching the Republican Party. It's like watching a friend drink themselves to death or overdose. It's like, why? Why are you doing this? So, I'll just say to my old friend Yoshi, if you end up watching this, you didn't have to do this. You can stop. You can apologize. You can try to explain what you did. and you can, get back to trying to be a decent human being. But probably you're not going to do that, and that's a tragedy. So here we are in the Trump years. And all people are going to be remembered for in this era is, did you support Donald Trump or not? It's like segregation. Segregationists did a lot of stuff, but all they're remembered for is they were segregationists. Sorry, Yoshi. You deserve better, but this is the choice you made, so I guess you didn't deserve better. So here's your better days ahead. Let's win in November, and let's none of us take that path that Yoshi took. All the best.